But where does the story begin? According to, I'm going to tell you from Jewish tradition and then go on through history. So we have this rock here. According to Jewish tradition, this is the first earth that was created by God. In the story of Genesis, Breshit bara Elokim et haaretz ve'et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. The heavens and the earth were created. God separated the heavens from the earth. There is this chaos, tohu vavohu, right? That's what was there before, tohu vavohu, and that was separated between the upper and the lower, and the earth that basically contained the chaos in the under firmament is this earth. So that's the stone of the Even Shtia, it's called in Hebrew, the foundation stone, or the fountain stone, you can call it, the foundation stone, Even Shtia. And also it's believed that that is where the source of all living water comes from. It's underneath that stone. And the stone actually seals it. It's almost like a cork, right? And it has the name of God written on it. The unnameable name of God, the unspeakable name of God. And there are all sorts of stories around it. But that's also the stone from which Adam was created. Adam, the Hebrew word Adam means earth. Adam, he was created from the earth, Adama, right? And Eve was created from Adam. Eve in Hebrew is Chava, and that means life, the mother of all living beings, life, Chava. Adam and Chava were created from this initial formation, the Even Shtia. So that's the first sanctity, okay? And that means that's the energy of God, the highest energy of God is located here. Not the stone itself, but this area. That's something important to remember, because human beings always want something solid, right? And that's the big danger, right?
Yeah.
You don't worship the stone.
No.
So this is that. Okay, then the next tradition that's associated with this area is that when Abraham came up from the desert, commanded to sacrifice his son. Wait, first of all, before that, we had the celebration or ceremony yesterday of welcoming Jerusalem. Abraham met Melchizedek here in this valley, the Valley of the Kings, right below this mountain. This was a mountain, by the way. What we're looking at has been flattened. It was a mountain. So when he came later with his son to sacrifice Isaac, I mentioned before that Abraham, each patriarch has characteristics. They're very particular, right? Abraham sees God everywhere. And that's the association with his is sight. There are always physical associations with the patriarchs. His is sight from the start. He saw that the idols weren't real. He saw, and also the word to see and to be shown and to be in awe of and to fear are all one word in Hebrew. It's ro'ah, yirah, mar'eh. All of these things come from the yara. If you hear that yara, that means to see. So he was told by God to take Isaac and sacrifice him, to bind Isaac in a place that I will show you. God says, I will show you this place. And that place I will show you is Mount Moriah, the mountain that was shown, or the mount that I see, or the mount that contains all my awe of God, right? So when he comes up from the desert, this is the mountain that he sees. So now you have to imagine a mountain. Har Moriah, the mountain of Moriah, the mountain where God is seen. And that's where he binds Isaac. Then the Midrash says that as he's binding Isaac, I just have to make sure that's not something important. He's told to bind Isaac, and in the moment that he has the knife, and you can all ask questions afterwards. Why did he argue for Sodom? Why did Sodom and Gomorrah? Why didn't he argue for his own son? That's all. That could take you years to discuss. But he has the knife in his hand, and the rabbi says, the Midrash says that at that moment, he's the father. He's about to sacrifice his beloved son. He's crying. And of course, Abraham is the one that sees. So the tears are coming from his seeing eyes, and they're falling into the eyes of Isaac. Isaac is right under him, and the tears fall right into the eyes of Isaac. And we know from the text that Isaac is blind, or he's hard. It's very difficult for Isaac to see. You know, he mixes up the blessing. He can't see. And you can take that further and say, Abraham went everywhere. He left his father's home where he was born. He came into this land. He went to Egypt twice. He came back. He was a wanderer, right? And he saw God everywhere. And Isaac, in contrast, and you can talk about the psychological trauma of being underneath your father's knife. he never left the land of Israel. His God experience is very internal, and you can learn a lot about that if you look into the character of Isaac throughout all the stories of Isaac. It's a very internal experience of God, and it's not coincidental that he's internal, right? You can't see. That's just an aside. So that's Mount Moriah. Mount Moriah. Then the Mount Moriah appears again in the story of King David. King David conquers Jerusalem. It's a Jebusite city. He goes through the tunnels that we're going to go through, I think, tomorrow, and he conquers Jerusalem. He buys this piece of land from Araunah the Jebusite. It's written in the Bible. He pays for it. That's the holy precinct that he is intending to build the temple. His son builds the temple, and I'm going to go quick. The first temple is built over this holiest precinct, the Kadosh HaKodashim, the Holy of Holies. That temple is destroyed. That's the first temple. The temple is destroyed. And then we go through several hundred years, right? A new temple is built, it's small, and then a massive temple is built by Herod, renovated basically, yeah? And this is the temple that he builds. Before that second temple is built, he flattens the mountain. It's an architectural
disaster.
No, it's not. It's a miracle. It's a feat, right? Just like the Northern Palace, but Herod can do anything, and he basically cuts off the mountaintop. It's unbelievable how it's done. You can go on a tour in the tunnels here, and they have all sorts of theories of how it was done. Basically, he took off a whole section of the mountain and supported this part of the Temple Mount. You see, because that part's not even on the mountain over there. So that's supported by arches. Very important Roman invention, arches. But it is earthquake prone, that section. Okay, now quick, this temple was destroyed in 70 CE. And nothing was there until Hadrian built a temple to Zeus, a pagan temple, right in the same spot. Really, of course, because he wanted to cancel out anything that was holy to anyone else. He also built a temple on the site of the crucifixion and tomb of Jesus, temple to Aphrodite. That is a sure sign that it's a holy place. Someone else built something there too, right? Remember the high place? Always, every power builds in the same place. That was then destroyed. The Byzantines left it bare. The whole temple precinct was empty and in destruction until Omar ibn al-Khattab conquered Jerusalem, coming from Saudi Arabia. And the following generation built the Gold Dome and Al-Aqsa. Now, the Gold Dome, the Temple Mount, and Al-Aqsa, which is here, is holy to Islam. It's the third holiest site in Islam after Mecca and Medina, because in the Quran it says that Muhammad went to Al-Aqsa, the far holy place. That's the translation of Al-Aqsa. And there he went up into heaven and received the Quran, and then returned from there to Mecca. Third holiest site in Islam. The generation after Omar al-Khattab built Al-Aqsa and built the Gold Dome. Al-Aqsa was destroyed by an earthquake, by fire, because it's in this very weak area of the Temple Mount. And the Gold Dome has been standing ever since. It's the oldest Muslim structure in the world. It's not a mosque. It's standing over this rock, which according to Islam is where Muhammad went up to heaven, and his footprint is visible on the rock. That's according to the Islamic tradition. That's what we're seeing right now. That's how it stands right now. And I'm not going to get into the political history of that right now, how it is right now. I mean, in the last, we can say 70 years, or even in the last 2 years, there's always something going on there. And I'll talk about that before we go up to visit. But that's now under the Muslim Waqf, Muslim Authority supervision, under Israeli security supervision, but Waqf religious.
How long has that been there? How long has it been this way?
Well, I mean, it's been this way since 67, since Israel. That's the most recent radical development after Jerusalem was reunited. In 67, Moshe Dayan said that this is going to stay in the hands of the Waqf, and that's how it was in the preceding generation since the Crusader time. It's been under Muslim control since the Crusader time, because the Crusaders conquered Jerusalem, and then this whole area was used by the Crusaders. The Templar Order of Knights was founded on the Temple Mount, that's why they're called, and it was transformed into a church, and it was used as a church, and Al-Aqsa looks like a church. I'm not going to say that up there, but if you look at it, it looks like a basilica, part of it anyway. You know, it points out the basilica. So that's just the history of the Temple Mount. This is the inside of the Gold Dome, which is over the rock. Okay.
Where do we get this brochure?
National Geographic.
National Geographic. I think you can get it at the Israel Museum, maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, you know where you can get it? At the at the Garden Tomb on Friday when you go. They have it in their bookshop.
Is that, you think that gate is the site of the original gate?
It's the area of the original gate.
Because why would that gate not have a line with the temple?
It depends on which angle you're looking at.
Well,
Right
if you
now we're
stand-
looking at it
No,
as
no,
if
no,
it's-
no. If you stand right by that gate, it does not align with that.
What is
Does
that?
it?
What
It
are you
does,
saying?
because
It
once
does?
we go down, you're going to see it completely shifts. Depends on
Yeah, but I've been up there and I looked at it. It doesn't look to me like it lines up with that mosque.
Doesn't line to the temple.
But
I mean, it
I
might have
could
been
be
slightly
correct.
over, slightly to the right, or slightly to the left. But gates generally are always in the same area, just like roads, because people always continue in the same place.
But that's not a mosque.
No.
It's not a mosque; it's a sanctuary.
So the
There
gate
was-
should line up with what?
Wow, she
What
says
is
it
your-
does.
what is your
That-
question?
Holy place.
That gate,
Yes.
when I was up there before, it didn't seem to me that that gate lines up with that. It lines up like a whole
The copula of the
thing
spirit.
forward.
Which
It doesn't, are those ruins to the right of old structures?
No,
Where
the
it
gate
would line
itself,
up
though,
with?
is not the gate from the time of Jesus.
Oh,
It's not
it's-
the gate. The gate itself is not. You'll see it on the model, the Holy Temple model in Jerusalem. It's not the same gate, but it is the location. We know where the gates were. Some of them are newer, some of them are older, but generally the ancient gates are in the same place that they were.